Good evening. I will speak about a few different things. And as some people requested, they're sending me emails, you should speak about this, you should speak about that. So the people who send me advice what to talk about, I appreciate it. It's a good idea. I have to do it in the day of the lecture. If you do it even a day before, by tomorrow night, since I have so many phone calls and emails, I don't remember any of them. If an hour later, I'm already confused who told me what. Also, when you resend me email, don't assume that I remember the last one from a week ago. There's no chance. You either have to send it with a record of the previous emails, or you have to repeat what the question was about, or where we ended the last conversation. Why? Because you don't expect a person to remember thousands of different people and every detail on the phone calls. When I have other things to remember. Okay, so that's just before we start. Also, once in a while, I get emails from people, Baruch Hashem a lot, but not enough. Because it's good also to hear the good, not only the bad. If every 10 emails I get, one will be good, fine, I can survive. But if I get 100 bad ones and people with problems and tragedies, and then one of them is, you saved my life, or I saw that lecture and I became Shomer Shabbat, it's not enough. There's no balance here. So it has to be all the people who benefit from the lecture also have to send. It gives an encouragement to continue. That's just besides the point. Today, I was asked to speak about a proper behaving of a woman, not only the way she dressed as far as modesty, and a proper behaving on everyday's life. So I will do it close to the end of the lecture. I would like to start with the last parasha, Vayigash, just to speak about one topic from the parasha, one thing, which is very important. It's the last paragraph of the parasha. It's very, very interesting, and it applies to us very much to today's time. For those of you who knows Israeli mentality or what's happening in Israel, it will be easier for you to understand me. Those of you who don't, maybe now it's an opportunity for you to understand what's really happening in Israel right now. So it's basically now that if you look at the entire state of Israel, it's divided to many, many different groups. Many different groups. And every group have different ideology, different opinion, different political opinions, and different behaving, different IQs, etc. There's different things. For instance, you have Arabs in Israel that have, Israeli citizenship. Some of them already realize that they're Israeli citizen and try to behave properly. And a large group of them are they're not accepting the fact that they're Israeli citizens, so they obviously accept all the benefits that Israel gives them as citizens of Israel, but they continue to act as undercover terrorists, which means they have the dream to destroy Israel, and in every opportunity they have to help the Hamas or any other terrorist group. They'll do it with love. That's their ideology. They demonstrate, they burn things, they throw rocks, they do whatever they can, even though the Israeli citizen. So it's just like, to give you an idea, imagine the Puerto Ricans of New York decide to make terrorism attack in New York because they don't like certain things, that it doesn't go their way. Imagine what would happen here. This is more or less to give you an idea. Like, you have an American citizenship, but you attack the authorities, you gather all kinds of things, you do activity to hurt innocent people just because you not agree with certain things that are happening in the state. So this is basically one group. Then you have the Arab Druze. It's different Arabs. Is most of them loyal to the state of Israel, and most of them even go to the Israeli army. And also they speak Hebrew in such a way that it's very, very difficult to even know that they're not Jewish. Because many secular Israelis, it's very hard to know, since they go with the army uniform, and they have their own religion. We believe that they are the descendants of Jethro, the Druze, and they're more spiritual than other groups in Israel when it comes to the non-Jews. But this is the Druzim, the Druze. Then you have the secular Jews, the Israelis, which also you cannot really put them all in one group, because it's different. This also, you can divide them to different groups. You have the Sephardic secular Jews, which are more traditional in a way. You have the Ashkenazi secular group, which is less traditional. You have, among the religious people, you have the Orthodox Jew. You have a very large group of Baalei Tshuva, people that they used to be secular, and now they are frum. They keep the laws. They keep the laws of the Torah. They became Shomer Shabbat, some of them in yeshivot. This group, somehow, there's an explanation for it, it's at least 90% Sephardi, at least, if not 95 or 98 even. So it's almost all Sfaradim. For every 100 Baalei Tshuva, is more than 90 for sure are Sfaradim. I'm telling you from 17 years of experience, this is what's happening right now. One of the reasons, in case you are curious to know why, because there's a rule that the more generations the descendants of a family is disconnected from Hashem, the harder it is to the descendants, to the grandchildren, to go back to Hashem. There's less siyata dishmaya. It's called what we call less chut avot. There's no merit of the father so much, because the last one was religious, was 100 years ago, or 200 years ago, 150 years ago. So it could be 6, 7 generations already without Torah. The parents were communists in Russia, in Poland, all kinds of activists, Zionists that are nothing to do with Judaism. And the grandchildren, even if they hear the truth, it's very difficult for them to absorb because they don't have siyata dishmaya so much. Sometimes you find different. The Ashkenazim right away ignite. Why? Because his grandfather was a Rebbe in Hungary or something. Right away, you see right away that he's still more spiritual than another one, which is disconnected for many generations. Among the Sfaradim, maybe 2 generations, maximum 3 are disconnected from Hashem. Almost until 100 years ago, almost all Sfaradim were Orthodox. They started to become secular in Iraq, in Iran, in Greece, in places like that. But the rest of the world, like Syria, Yemen, all other places, they were all still Orthodox until this moment. In Syria, everyone is Shomer Shabbat. In Yemen, everyone is Shomer Shabbat. In other places, almost all of them were Shomer Shabbat. In Morocco, until 2 generations ago, almost everyone was religious. So it's not that long, the disconnection from Hashem, not that long. Now, among the religious people, you have the Hasidim, which is like, for those of you who don't really know from the inside, it looks like a total different religion. Different way of clothing, different customs, different speaking, different, almost everything is different from the outside. The inside, really, we all follow the same Torah, but from the outside it looks very, very different, for instance, from the Sephardi mentality, or even from the Ashkenazi Litvish. Then you have the Litvish, which is Lita, Lithuania, and Russia, and all these places, which are different than it's also Ashkenazim, but it's very different than the Hasidim. It's mamash like 2 different worlds, different customs, different mentality. And then, the main thing that I would like to focus on from all these groups is one thing that really eating Israel from the inside. It's like a cancer in our society. What is it? The media in Israel, the radio station, most of the television station are controlled by anti-religious people, anti-religion. It's people, not necessarily communists like the old generations, that they were anti-God. No. It could be people who declare they believe in God. It can be people that say, I'm proud to be a Jew. But in reality, he is a very big enemy of Judaism and the Jewish people. Why? Because, as I explained hundreds of times in the past, according to God, a real Jew is someone who observes his covenant, which the foundation of the covenant is the Sabbath, Shabbat. If you don't keep Shabbat, you exclude yourself out of Judaism. So those people obviously are not Shomer Shabbat. And what happens is the media is constantly shooting poison in the society in Israel against the religious people. The more religious the people are, the more the secular people hate them. Now, of course, I'm not generalizing. It's not everyone. You always find people who have no problem with you. You're religious. I respect it. I actually admire you for that. You be religious. Just leave me alone. But I have nothing personal against you. You have people like this. Many. But I'm talking now, right now, the majority of the people, because they are brainwashed so much from the media against the people who learn Torah and the people who keep the mitzvot in Israel. So they look at them as the main threat to our future, more than the Palestinian terrorists. Even though you have a country is formed under our feet, the terrorists are digging tunnels under our legs, under the ground. They are reaching every corner in Israel. They have rockets, missiles. Basically, they're becoming stronger and wealthier. And eventually, how long we're going to be able to survive against their terrorism and murder, who knows? Only Hashem can save us from them. But instead of doing everything to fight against their real enemies, all they care about is the people who sit and learn Torah. There's not 1 week, or actually there's not 1 day, or actually there's not even 1 hour in Israel, that you don't find an attack on people who sit and learn Torah. Not from Goyim. Goyim, what do we expect from them? If the Arabs speak something against the rabbi, no, what do you expect? I'm talking Israelis, Jews. Jew, it could be your cousin, it could be your brother, it can be, who knows, it can be your parents. That they're constantly writing in the media, on the news, every day, every night, against the Torah, and they call them bloodsuckers. They call them that they're taking advantage on the country. They're not serving in the army. They have many, many complaints against the people who sit and learn 12, 14 hours a day Torah. It kills them. Why did I decide to start the lecture with this? Because in this parasha, we have something very interesting, actually incredible, to teach. And again, some of these people who are very, very anti-Torah, they're not denying that the Torah is divine. They know God gave the Torah to the Jewish people. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not interested to keep it. Leave me alone. I don't want to change my evil ways. You call it evil. I call it righteous. Everyone do whatever he wants. It's a free world. You know all this saying that people have to say. But reality-wise, they're not denying. They believe. You ask them, do you believe that God gave the Torah to the Jews? Many of them would say yes. But it doesn't prevent them from constantly attacking the Torah and the learners of the Torah, which is something very interesting. For instance, in America, you also have a lot of secular Jews. But you don't find anti-religious people sitting all day and all night in the media and destroying religion or destroying the yeshivot. You don't find, there's many anti-religious people. They marry to non-Jews, they donate to the churches, they hate rabbis, everything fine. But you don't see them that constantly they devote all their life to fight against people who sit and learn Torah. It's very interesting. But in Israel, it's like the main goal in their mind. All day and all night, all they do is this and this and that. Actually, the Torah already predicted that. The Torah says, "Meharsaich u'machrevaich memech yetz'u." Your destroyers, the real enemy of you is you. They will come from among you. If you think that the Goyim are your threat, if you think that the Goyim are your enemies, think again. Your main enemies is people who sit right next to you in the same block, in the same building, across the hallway, in the same building. They are really the enemies of the nation of Israel. Why? Some of them with lots of ignorance. They maybe don't mean bad. Maybe they think this is the right way. But by them fighting against the Torah and making the Torah learners weaker, they're actually jeopardizing the entire existence of Israel. Because what kept the Jewish people for 3,300 years against all the threats and all the tragedies of what happened to us in the last 3,300 years is only the Torah. Without the Torah, not one Jew would survive in the world. No one would know about our tradition. The people who gave their life for learning Torah from the time of the Greeks and the Romans and the Babylonians and even in Egypt and then, coming to Israel and all the reasons that thousands of Jews came from Europe and from the Middle East to Israel risking their life to sit and saddle inside the Holy Land is only because of the Torah. Without the Torah, what do they need to go to a place of swamps full of Arab murderers there? Who would want to leave Germany and all these beautiful places where they used to live in 1880, 125 years ago, live their comfortable life and go to Israel? Why all Americans who goes and filled Yerushalayim and the settlements and all the other places. Why an American Jew that lives very comfortable from a lot of wealthy families here, they leave everything here, they leave the comfortable houses and cars and maids that they have, and they go and they live in some areas. If you see how they live, in what condition, you cannot believe. This is kids of wealthy families. They're risking their life every day. The only reason they went there is only thanks to the Torah. Without the Torah, nobody would care about the Holy Land. Nobody would even care to go live there. Remember, you see today Israel is a beautiful European country. But 100 years ago it was a big swimming pool of swamps. Malaria, mosquitoes used to bite people, a minute later he's dead. It's a horrible life. It's no value. You know, we bought the lands from the Arabs for peanuts, because the Arabs for 2,000 years could not grow anything in Israel. From the time of the destruction of the Second Temple until 100 years ago, it was impossible to grow anything in Israel. Nobody could. Read some documents in history. Nobody could grow any tree. Even the olive trees who can grow on a rock, it was hard to grow. That's how bad the situation there. But the Ramban, 750 years ago, moved to Israel. The student of the Gaon Mivilna, 250 years ago, they all moved to Israel. Who would want to move there? The answer is the mitzvah of Yeshuv Eretz Israel. Walking in the land of Israel, it's already a mitzvah. You walk in New York, it's not a mitzvah. You walk in Zimbabwe, it's not a mitzvah. You walk in Israel, every fourth step is mitzvah. Mamash mitzvah. Doing nothing. You walk in the middle of the street, it's mitzvah. Why? It's the Holy Land. When the Yemenites arrived to Israel, what was the first thing they did? They kissed the floor. When the Ashkenazi Jews came to Israel, what's the first thing they did? Coming out of the plane, right away they kissed the floor. Those who came from Iraq on donkeys, first thing they arrived, they jumped from the donkey and kissed the floor. When someone moved from Russia to America, he kissed the floor? Why? He knows there's no holiness here. What holiness you have in Moscow or in New York or in Paris? You have any holiness? You have no holiness. But when you arrive to the Middle East, even the Christians kiss the floor. You know, you can go and make millions of dollars selling the Christians cans with Israeli air. Do you know that? And it's not a joke. When I was a kid, someone showed me, see this? It's $5. So what's inside? He said nothing, air. Air from Israel. They sell it in New York, $5. This was 30 years ago. Air from the Holy Land. And Christians here in America used to buy it for $5. 30 years ago, $5 was like 15 today. Imagine today someone sell you an empty can and you just keep it. It's air from the Holy Land. Believe me, they're not that foolish. Because the Gemara said the air that you breathe in Eretz Israel is a different air than you breathe in the rest of the world. Breathing the air of Eretz Israel, opening some roots in the brain that other places is not opened. It's it's sharpening the brain of a person. You understand? So the point that I was trying to make is like this. One of the problems that it creates is because there's no unity. Now, unity, it's something very interesting. Even if the wicked people are united, they are successful. If the wicked people are united, they go to do something against God. They have special help. Why? Because it's a rule. It's like a rule in a creation. Same thing, you have oxygen here. When you go very high, there's less oxygen. It's a rule. Same thing, you have gravity. It's a rule. There's a rule. When everyone is united, the place is successful. You can go to a synagogue, people are wicked there, they don't keep the laws, they talk in the middle of the davening, but they're all united, they love each other, they help each other, they have special blessing, these people. Why? They're wicked, but they're united. Achav was a wicked king, murderer, his wife was a murderer. They did horrible thing if you read the Tanakh. But Hashem say he win all his wars. Why? Because everyone was united, him, his soldiers, they were united. Unity, that's, by the way, one of the biggest lacks that we have, that the Arabs are not united. All it needed that the Arabs will be united, all nations of Arab will be destroyed a long time ago already. Nothing would help us. Even the promises, everything, nothing would left from us. We're only lucky that they hate each other just as much as they hate us. Syria and Jordan and Lebanon and this Iran and Kuwait, and everyone hates everyone. And even inside their countries, look what's happening. They kill each other, they bomb each other. Today, they are more free to do what they want to do, because supposedly they try to educate the Arabs in democracy. This is a way of Hashem to make them be busy killing each other instead of killing us. So he opened the world. Facebook actually is doing the job. All of a sudden, the Arabs discover Facebook. They all became civilized. They all now, democracy is very good for us. Why? Because Arabs can never have democracy. They don't have one tough leader who hit everyone on their head. They'll kill each other forever. So the more advanced they become, the more educated they become, the more access they have to technology, the better it is for us against our enemies. Why? It only will help them to kill each other and be busy with themselves instead of coming to destroy us, which is their main dream. It will never end, never end. Every week you have a new leader. He's going to be leader. A month later they put him down, somebody else. Why? Because now it's free. That's why in some countries they close the internet, like in Iran. They make their own YouTube now. No more YouTube, no more internet. Why? They realize it's killing us from inside. Every 2-3 months the student makes a revolution. How many times? So now they try to block themselves from the world. Like in Saudi Arabia, there's no BlackBerry. Certain things they try to block. This is what's happening now. So we don't have unity because we have too many enemies to the Torah. What's their main claim? Their claim is, in Israel there's a law. You become 18, you go to the army. My kid go to the army. Your kid, Rabbi, have to go to the army. So what's the Rabbi answer? No, to learn Torah is more important than to be a soldier. Your kid is serving the country, and our kid serving the country just as much or more. Now, the secular Jew, for him it looks like a joke. It's like he thinks he's going to go to university. How exactly it serve my country? Go and fight in the borders. He doesn't understand Torah, it's not math, or medicine, or computer learning. It's a different learning. It's a spiritual learning that helps the entire nation of Israel. If he knew a little bit Torah, and if he knew history, he know that every leader, King David, King Solomon, Yoshua ben Nun, Moshe Rabbeinu, when they went to the war, half of the army was learning Torah. There's not such thing just to fight. It's half learning, reading Tehillim and praying, and learning Torah, and the other half go to war. That's how it was. There was not such thing, an army who only fights. There was always half and half, and this is how we won the war. And the Torah said exactly that the Torah brought us the winning, the victories. Moshe picks up his hand, everyone looks up to Hashem, and we win. Not because we are great soldiers. We're different than all the other nations. They think like Goyim. A Goy understand, you have muscles, you're strong. You have F-16 or good bombs or good missiles, you win. By us, it's now, we won when we took over Israel from our enemies who stole it from us for almost 2,000 years. How did we win? We didn't even have guns. Do you know that? There was 100 Israeli soldiers fighting 78 years ago. Only 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 had an old rifle. There's really no weapon. No F-16s, no tanks. The Arabs have armies, massive armies, and 1.5 billion people. Technically, there was no chance. It's like mamash, the same miracle like winning against the Greeks. Yehuda Maccabi with a group of Jews against the biggest. How did we win Israel? Learn the Israeli history, you won't believe. How can it be? Few groups that fought in Israel after the British gave up. They saw we're not giving them rest. They left. The Arabs went in, and it was a big war to liberate the land. Technically, until today, nobody can understand how did we win. They should have destroyed all of us, killed, not leaving one person there. Didn't have army. What army did we have? They have all the money, they have all the oil, they have the support of Russia. The Russians fought for them. The Russians flew the MiGs to fight for them. The Russians are a little better than them in combat. And they still lost. Why? Because when Hashem won it, that's it. There's nothing he can do. We will never win thanks to our talent. Yes, today we have all kinds of techniques. We're better pilots. Maybe we have more technology in our planes and tanks. But everybody understands that that's really not what makes us win. The Russians are just as good in technology. The Americans are just as good, but they lose every war. Think about it. America lost every war. Since Vietnam until now, did America ever win a war? Ever. Nothing. They only lose. Everywhere they go, in Iraq they lost. Against Iran, they still wasn't a physical war, but so far they're losing. The Iranians are laughing in their face. Any other war they had, they lose. So technically, these Israelis do not understand we can only win if we are close to Hashem. If we're not close to Hashem, we have no chance to win. There's one more problem. They are very angry, not only that the religious people who learn Torah do not go to the army, they're also very angry that the government gives them money. How much the government gives them? About $180 for someone who learned full day. And they constantly follow him and send people to check. If 1 hour is missing, they cut right away, they cut his salary. It's not so simple. 1 hour you're missing. They showed up, you came from lunch break 5 minutes late, that's it. They cut you off. And they can cut the entire yeshiva because of 1 or 2 guys. That's what's happening. I have yeshiva in Yerushalayim, I see how many times they're coming. Every 2-3 weeks, they show up. And they know exactly to show up in lunchtime. When people go half an hour on the site to eat, he shows up. Where is everyone? Well, you come all the time. Come in the normal hours that everyone learns. And not only that, they want all the money they gave retroactive. Can be millions of shekels. If they catch now 1 or 2 guys is missing from the list, they have a list in every kollel who's supposed to learn. So they come, supposed to be 24 learners. 1 of them is in a hospital. The other one, his wife giving birth right now, so it's 22. Where are they? They don't care. They report the kollel. They send you a penalty, courts, lawyers, this. This is much like Gestapo. And they make so much noise about it, so much noise. So the question is, why they're complaining so much that the yeshivot receive money? Let's analyze it. The universities just getting just as much money. They get money. The sport, the soccer games, the basketball league, the tennis, the theaters, the Broadway, what in Israel it's called Habima, they all get money. Gambling organizations, they get money from the government. All kinds of people, Holocaust survivors get money from the government. There's many, many groups of people in Israel that get money from the government. Now the question is, how does the government decide who to give their money? There's a pie. You have to divide it. The law of democracy says that every citizen of the place that needs help, based on the rule, it deserves to get help. So for instance, if we decide we're helping the feeders, what's the problem of helping people who learn Torah? Why this is yes and this is no? How do you decide? It depends who sits in the government. I'm teaching you now things that you as Americans probably don't know, but it's good for us to understand where we're standing right now, because it applies to every Jew in the world, not only to what happened in Israel. So what's happened? If you have right now about 25% of the Israeli population with a yarmulke, Haredim, Kippot Srugot, all kinds of different levels of religious people or different groups. So they are about a quarter from the Israeli state. So they have rights. The democracy says that you have rights because you are a quarter of the population. Just like the Arab have rights as a citizens of Israel, or the Druze, or everybody else who lives in Israel and is a citizen, you have rights. How are you going to claim your rights? You have to be elected to the government. The government has to have at least 61 members from 120, a majority. So they have the biggest labor, which usually get about 30, 35, and then they have to get other groups to join together and to make a government. They can, in the last 20, 25 years, they could never make a government without the religious people. Why? Because the religious people are to the right. The right governments are winning constantly in the last 20, 25 years. They don't want to take the liberal Jews who are the biggest enemies of Israel. That all they do is helping the Arabs to take the country away from us. There are Jews like this in Israel. That all they do is and praying to God that the Palestinian will kill us and take the land. And it's not an exaggeration. So there are about 11 or 12 members in the Knesset, like Meretz and all these anti-Israel people. So it's not only in America you have liberal Jews. You have inside the Knesset. Together with the Arabs, they're also 25% of the Knesset. They're also about 25 seats. The enemies of Israel, which is Jews and Arabs together, sitting in a government. But Baruch Hashem, they're not getting elected to the government. So they sit in the opposition, which they constantly fight against the government, but they don't have so much power because they're not in the government. So since the religious people are constantly helping Netanyahu or the rest of the prime minister to make the government, Without them, there's no government. So the deal is, you want us to sit with you in the government? Our voters vote for us for one reason, that we will give them money to learn Torah. That's our deal. You want us? Take it or leave it. Otherwise, we sit in the opposition, and you don't have a government. It's strictly politics. They're not doing any favors to anyone. This is the law of the secular state of Israel. But the people, some religious people, they think they're doing us a favor. They're not. The religious people in Israel pay taxes, 50, 60%. People, the big diamond dealers, big people who own Halperin Optica. They have more than 130 locations. I know the son of the owner. They're running millions of dollars every month. Half of it goes to taxes. Lebayev, he owned big companies in Israel. Lebayev, big diamond dealer, businesses in Israel, Africa, Israel. They give millions of dollars every month, they pay taxes. And there's hundreds of millionaires and billionaires in Israel who are Shomer Shabbos, they pay taxes. So why to take taxes from them, it's kosher. But to give them what they deserve according to the law of democracy is not kosher. So this is all a lie. But the media, this is what the Zohar said, that when Mashiach come, the children of the Erev Rav that came out of Egypt, the enemies of God, those Egyptians that took an opportunity and they came out with the Jewish nation, their descendants will control the land before Mashiach come. And to control the land, there's no better control than owning and controlling the media, because the media makes all the damage. You know how the media can make riots, can make everything they want. And that's what happened. This whole introduction was only for few verses in the end of Parashat Vayigash. What does it say? Listen good. Everybody know Yosef became the treasury of Egypt. Paro gave him the ring. He's controlling. He's like the Bernanke right now of the world. He's running the economy in America, which runs the economy of the whole world. So he's but Yosef had a much bigger power than him, because over here he still have supervisor. Paro gave Yosef full authority. You the king. All the money is in your hand. So now Yosef, with his brilliance, 7 years prepared for that day. Put everything in storages. And now the starvation arrived. Nothing, no water, nothing to grow. There's nothing, no wheat. You cannot get anything. Slowly, all the people of Egypt and the people of the world, they came. In the first year, the Torah says right here, in the first year, it was still enough savings, cash. So they bought bags of flowers with their cash that they had saved over the years. But then after a year, the Torah says, right here in this parasha, end of the parasha we just read 2 days ago, their cash ran out. They didn't have any more cash. So they came to Yosef, and they said to Yosef like this, look, it said there's no bread in the entire land, the starvation is very heavy, right? So Yosef collected all the cash in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, which is Israel, right? And Yosef brought all the money to the house of Paro. And the money of Egypt and Canaan finished. Nothing, there's no more cash. Not one bank account has a penny in it. And the entire people of Egypt came to Yosef and said, give us bread. If not, we'll die. We have no more cash. What do you want? You want us to die? You have storages full. Yosef said, okay, sell your cars. Sell your Mercedes, your Lexus, whatever you have. Sell your cars. Sell your yachts. Sell your motorcycles. Sell your jet ski. Bring all the money and I'll give you food. What is it? He says, sell your animals. Sell your donkey, your horses, your camels. This is your transportation. It has a value. Sell all of it. Give me. You don't have cash. Give me horses. Give me donkeys. We'll evaluate it. I'll give you food. Slowly, within the second year, he owned all the transportation that they had. All the animals that they had, he owned. Then the money disappeared. Still, they ran out of money. There's no jobs, no nothing. You cannot plow the ground. There's nothing. There's no jobs. What happened? They came now and they say, okay, now we don't have animals anymore. So what are we going to do? We die now? There's nothing to give. So they came now to Yosef and they say to him, listen, the money and the animals disappeared, finished. There's only one option. Either you see us all bodies in graves. This is it. Gviatenu, gvia means a dead body. Or you take our land and make us the servants of Paro and give us some seeds, and we will work in our land, but it will be owned, limbed by Paro. So now the government of Paro is taking over all the real estate of Egypt. All, just like it's happening here now. Slowly, nobody pays mortgages. So the government gave money to all these big banks, Fannie Mae, whatever their name is, and actually the government own it, and they repossess houses. But the government here is merciful at least. They told the bank, leave people alone for a year or two until we see what's going to happen. Don't take away their homes. Foreclosure, stop the foreclosure process. But Paro doesn't care. He took their real estate. He took everything. Why should we die? Take our land, buy our land with bread, and we'll be servant to Paro. Ten zera v'nichyeh. Give us seeds, and you'll revive us. And the land, you take advantage on the land. It's business. We'll work for you for free, just for bread. It could be a better business. He's a sharp businessman, no? So Yosef, Vayiken Yosef et kol admat Mitzrayim. Kol, when the Torah says kol, means there was not 1 foot in the land of Egypt that wasn't owned by Pharaoh, thanks to Yosef. Right? Ki machru Mitzrayim ish sadeu. Everyone sold their fields. Ki chazak aleim harav. They wanted to leave. What did Yosef do? He knew that as long as they live in the land, there's a law, it's called chazakah. In English, it's easement. If you live in a place, in America, I believe it's 7 years. For instance, if your neighbor stole from your field a piece, for 7 years he's there, he put his places there, his cars, he built some shade over there, whatever, and you did not protest. After 7 years, that's it. You cannot evict him. Why? 7 years you saw and you did nothing about it. Same thing if people make a shortcut from your backyard and you let it go. After 7 years, if you want to put a fence, they'll knock down the fence. And they go to the court, and the court will force you to keep it as a public territory. According to the Torah, you don't need 7 years. 3 years. Chazakah, 3 years. 3 years people passed in your property and you did not protest, no signs, you didn't yell, you didn't bring witnesses to hear that it bothers you. 3 years it was okay with you, that's why you cannot put a fence. So Yosef knew if they continue to live in the land, what are you going to do? You cannot evict them. So what did he do? He moved them out of their homes to camps. Just like, it reminds me of Germany, how they took the Jews to camps. In the beginning, they didn't kill them right away. First, they took them out of their beautiful mansions of Hamburg and Munich, and they put them in camps, and later it came the final solution. So Yosef had no plan to kill them. So far, he's giving them what they want. So he moved them out of their homes. Ve'avir oto le'arim, miktzeh gvul, to the border of Egypt. He moved them all to temporary homes, right? This is all for this. Now listen good what I'm reading to you now. Rak admat haKohanim lo kana. But the land of the Kohanim, Kohen in Hebrew means mesharet bakodesh, a servant of religion. Which religion? Any religion. Real religion, there's only one, Torah. And fake religions, doesn't matter. For instance, it says Yitro Kohen Midian. Yitro was the Pope, the master of Avodah Zarah. He worshipped every idol in the world. He learned all the idols worshipping techniques in his time. He was the #1 idol worshipper in the whole world. Worse than the Pope. The Pope only worshipped one idol, JC. Tonight is his night. He kissed him, he hugged JC, So tonight is his night. So the Pope is worshipping one idol. Jethro was worse. He worshipped all the idols possible. By the way, you should know that when Yitro came, Yitro is a reincarnation of Cain, and Moshe is a reincarnation of Hevel. The two brothers, the one killed the other. Now he has to compensate him by giving him his daughter to be his wife, Tzipora, because he killed them for female. Hevel was born with 2 twins, and Cain was born with 1 twin. He was jealous that he had 2 and he has 1. That one of the reasons. There's few other reasons. One of the reasons he killed him was this. So now in the next life, he's paying him back. But the interesting thing is Not that many people knows the secrets of the Torah that Yitro told Moshe, I'm giving you Tzipora to be your wife only in one condition. That you sign to me a personal guarantee that the first boy you have will come to me to worship all the idols with me. Well, you'll give him to Avodah Zarah. The second one is for you. The first one is for me. And Moshe signed. How can it be? It's an atomic bomb I just dropped here, no? Did you know that or no? Who knew that? No. You knew that? I'm surprised. So now, Moshe signed. Now, who can give me an answer? How the most legendary person in history that spoke to Hashem while he was up? Nobody spoke to Hashem when he was up, only when he was asleep. He signed that the first boy will go to Avodah Zarah. Now, who can give me a good answer? Let's save time. I'll give the answer. So the answer is, first of all, you can sign as much as you want. You cannot sign anything against God. For instance, if you sign and you swear, you hold the Torah and you swear in the name of the Torah or in the name of Hashem that you will never put tefillin. It's nothing. It's like grinding water. Why? You're already obligated from the Torah to put tefillin. You have no permission to make a vow or to swear against the Torah. Or the same way, if you swear that you will put tefillin, you don't need to swear. You already swore in Mount Sinai. One way or the other, you cannot make conditions against obligations that you are obligated from the Torah. You can't. You can't. So Moshe can say whatever he wants. Same thing, Rabbi Akiva, there was a woman who knew a medicine, and she didn't want to give it out. And Rabbi Akiva came to her and made her a promise and canceled it in his heart. Why? He wanted to give it to all the sick people. So Rabbi Akiva swore to her, and in his mind, he made a condition that whatever he tells her, it's for the sake of the public, and he tricked her. Why? If you have a person, a greedy person, egoistical so much that he doesn't care that people die just because he wants to keep the secret of the medicine to himself, that's basically a potential murderer, which obviously doesn't have rights. So if you have a way to trick him and to get the medicine out of him with a lie, it's a mitzvah. Why? You're saving life. You're not doing it for money. You want to save people's life. To save life, you're allowed to lie. If you can lie and save a life, and you didn't lie and the person died, you have a very serious problem. Why? Pikuach nefesh. It's preventing Shabbat until the life risk is over. It's needless to say, prevent a lie, okay? Preventing the covenant with Hashem temporarily until you save the life of a person. It's called Pikuach nefesh doche Shabbat. So the interesting thing is that Moshe signed. I saw a beautiful explanation why. First of all, like I say, Moshe could trick him. Once he had the boy say, go and look for your friends, leave me alone. What Avodah Zarah? Okay, I'm not keeping my promise. You expect me to give my boy to an idol worshiper? Of course, he had no intention to give it. But the interesting thing is that Moshe knew that Jethro, is a man who lives by the truth. How do you know? Because why would a person worship every idol in the world? What indication you are getting from that?
Seeking for the truth.
Seeking for the truth is constantly not resting. Like I know one person, today Baruch Hashem is a Jew, he went from one call to another. Investigate here 2-3 months, fake. Investigate Christianity, fake. Investigate Islam, fake. Yeah, this, that. Found the Torah, he became a very, very serious Torah learner. And he said, Chaval, it's a shame that I wasted 10, 20 years to search for the truth. Not everyone is lucky to be born in Jerusalem, in yeshiva. There are people who search for the truth all their life until they finally find it. So when a person jumps from one idol to another, that shows that it's burning. I'm still busy finding where is the truth. So Moshe knew, no problem. As soon as I'm going to get Tzipora, I'll give him a Jewish seminar, I'll give him Torah and science, I'll send him to divineinformation.com. Yitro will be a big rabbi. And that's what happened. Right away, Yitro became. Not only that, Yitro has an extra chapter in the Torah named after him, to teach us the level of a Baal Tshuva, even if he used to be the #1 idol worshipper in the world. There's a Parashat Yitro. What Yitro? Sheiter HaKadosh Baruch Hu Parasha b'Torah. It was supposed to be one chapter less. Not one chapter less. The Torah is the same Torah, 304,805 letters. But they were divided differently. Now they divide, the chapters are a little bit shorter each because they wanted to push another name. What? Parashat Yitro. You get the point? After him. So, this is what it says. After Yosef basically took over the entire land of Egypt, he did not touch the land of the religious people of Egypt. What religion? Some of them bow down to the Nile, some of them bow down to the sheep, some of them to the idols, to the statues, everyone with his idols. The Kohanei Dat, the people who serve their religion, they had a law in Egypt. Pharaoh, you don't understand what's going on here. Pharaoh is a very wicked person. First of all, he pretends he's God. He goes to the bathroom, 5 o'clock in the morning, and nobody sees. And he fools his people. Don't you see I never have to go to the bathroom? And Pharaoh is a master of magics. The children, when Moshe Rabbeinu threw the stick, it became a snake. All the little children that walking around in Pharaoh's palace, they did the same thing. So imagine what their master can do. The king of Egypt, how many magic he can do. Now we see 2,000 years ago, not 3,400 years ago, 2,000 years ago, in the time of the Talmud, there used to be goyim, Gentiles, who can take a person and turn him into a donkey with the magic. But real magic, not like today, quick hands that trick the eye. Real magic, kishufim. And it's expired after a day or 2 or 3. So the Gemara said that one person was riding on a donkey in the middle of the market, and then all of a sudden he turned into a woman. Because there was a woman, but the goy, the Mekashef goy, the Arab, turned him into a donkey, to turn her into a donkey, but then it expired and everyone saw a man sitting on a woman in the middle of the street. Today they can't take pictures of him for some kind of a magazine and give him a prize. But in those days people started to beat him up. Shame on you. You touch a woman in public. You know, in Dubai, a man and a woman was caught in a car. They were sent to jail for 4 months. And I think they got with a whip, you know. And this is not a Muslim country. The Islam is the religion, but people there are, most of them are very advanced. They're not fanatic Muslim, but it's the law of the government. You have to respect society in public. You have to behave like a person, not like an animal. You want to be an animal, you be in your house. But on the street, you have to behave. Sometimes I wonder who has more brain, we or them. Some of their laws is more clever than us. Over here, everyone can do whatever they want. איש הישר בעיניו יעשה. No dignity. Anyway, so this is what happened here. It says like this. רק אדמת הכהנים לא קנה. Yosef could not buy the land of the Kohanim. Why? כי חוק לכהנים מאת פרעה. Paro, the wicked magician that pretend is God, that disgraced the name of God in front of Moshe Rabbeinu, what did he make? A law. Religious people have special rights in my country. Give them bread for free. They dismiss from the army, they dismiss from paying taxes, they dismiss even the tribe of Levi. When they finally took all the Jews and put them in camps, in slavery camps, worse than Siberia, if you know what I'm talking about, and started to kill their children every day, the tribe of Levi that was sitting and learning Torah, nobody touched them. Nothing. They sit in yeshiva, hey, his cousin, this one, everyone, they are in slavery. They beat them up, they whip, with a whip. Shevet Levi sitting and learning Torah. That's why Shevet Levi, the Torah says, is the smallest tribe. Why? Only the ones who suffered the slavery grew. Why? The Torah says, כאשר יענו אותו, כן ירבה וכן יפרוץ. The more the Egyptians tortured them, the more birth they gave. Against nature, because if you torture a woman, she cannot become pregnant. Mentally she can't. If you take a woman and put her in jail, you think she can conceive? Just from the stress that she has, she would never get pregnant. From the stress. Today, people don't have faith in Hashem, unfortunately. So as soon as they have a delay, a year or two, they're not getting pregnant right away, the stress makes the situation much worse because they don't have patience and they're jealous with what's happening out there and people starting to ask questions and make comments. So the stress killed the woman. Instead of being happy, thank you Hashem, whatever you give me I take, the stress killed her. So even if she was supposed to conceive, Hashem just wanted to wait 3 or 4 years. Because of the mental stress, it doesn't help. Because you know that mental stress changed the entire physique of the body. The temperature of the body is from what goes through your mind. You have, your hands are shaking, heartbeats, all kinds of anxiety attack. The eyelashes is shaking. All these things, how a spiritual condition affecting the body physically. You know, if you take, I'll give you an example that I'm right. They made an experiment in Manhattan. They put a clear room in the middle of Manhattan. From the outside, it looks like a mirror, the glass, but from the inside, it's clear. And they put a bathroom inside. Not one person was able to make it a bathroom because they sit in the bathroom and they see all the people walking, and it seems to them like sometimes like one woman comes, she fixes her lipstick like this. So a person sits in the bathroom and all of a sudden someone is going like this. He couldn't focus on, the body could not release the waste. Why? It's affecting the person mentally. Or when a person was about to attack his steak, it was ready, and he got a phone call that his stocks collapsed. He lost his hunger right away. Right? Or when people are under stress, they eat a lot. Some people don't eat at all. So you see that the mental state of the mind is actually the engine of the body. How you walk, how you sleep, how you talk, how you move. Everything is getting affected from the neshama, from the state of mind. So here, they didn't take their land. And they ate, and everyone was happy, and the people, even the Leviim, they were enjoying freedom to sit and learn. Where? In the land of the most anti-God that we perhaps know in the Torah. Who was more against Hashem than Paro? Who is Hashem? He said to Moshe, Mi Hashem sheshma bekolo. After he saw all the miracles of Hashem, he dared to say to Moshe, who is Hashem? After what Hashem did to him, he still opened up his mouth. So these secular people of Israel, I don't believe that they are worse than Paro. Why don't they understand what Paro understood? Paro is a religion you don't play with. Even if all these Kohanim in Egypt were worshipping idols, fake religions. But they have special rights. You don't touch them, special rights. But in Israel, they didn't understand that yet. And they continue to fight against the Torah. And eventually, who knows where it's going to lead us to? Who knows? We'll see. Now, one more thing. What do you think it's a bigger mitzvah and more productive mitzvah? To sacrifice a sacrifice in the Holy Temple when it was standing there in Jerusalem, or to give tzedakah? What's bigger mitzvah? Let's say a goat costs $300 today. So a person made a sin, he has to bring a goat to the temple. So it cost him $300 to buy the animal, plus the time he has to lose all day at work, that's a $400 damage. For an unintentional sin that he made, like violate Shabbat by mistake, didn't know that it's not allowed, or accidentally he did it. So now he has to bring a sacrifice. So he said to himself, you know what? Instead of doing that, I'm going to take $400 and give it to this poor person, let him buy food for Shabbat, and that's it. Why I have to go now, bring a sacrifice? What do you think is basically a bigger mitzvah? It's a more productive mitzvah. The tzedakah or the sacrifice? What do you think?
Sacrifice.
If you say tzedakah, you say sacrifice, you say tzedakah. If you say tzedakah, what do we need Bet HaMikdash for? Sacrifice, right? Hashem says sacrifice. If a person made a sin, he has to bring a korban. It's an obligation from the Torah. It's not optional. But really, you are right. What we have to do, don't get me wrong. If we have Bet HaMikdash, we have to bring a sacrifice, fine. But really, tzedakah is a higher level of a mitzvah. Why? When do you bring a sacrifice? For what sin? Only unintentional sins. Not intentional sins. Intentional sin, a sacrifice doesn't help. If you do a sin intentionally, like violating Shabbat, it's execution. That's it. There's no mercy. It's too late. You do tshuva, it will help you in the afterlife. But over here, if two witnesses caught you, they gave me a warning, they saw you repeating the same sin twice, they reported you to the Jewish court, they checked the witnesses, and they found you guilty, violating Shabbat, or worshipping an idol, etc. There's a list of things that is execution. Right away, it's an execution. You cannot say to the judges, okay, give me another chance, I'm going to go to yeshiva now. You know what, I have $1 billion that I save. Instead of killing me, I'll give you, rabbis, the $1 billion, open another 100 yeshivot, help all the poor, save the entire religious world with my money, but just don't kill me, not allowed. Must execute him. That's what Hashem says. There's no bargaining. You cannot redeem a person once the Jewish court found him guilty and they execute him. That's it. He cannot redeem his execution with any way. Even if he proves he's going to sit in yeshiva all his life, even if he say, take handcuffs, tie me to the yeshiva, right there to the chair, I will never leave the room. I promise. Check me, give me another, nothing. Execution, finished. So obviously for that a sacrifice will not help. So only if it was not intentional, you didn't know, or you did it accidentally, it helps. But tzedakah, the Torah says tzedakah tatzil mimavet. Tzedakah has the power to save a person that Hashem already decreed on him, death sentence. Tomorrow was supposed to die by lightning or fall from a building or who knows what. And he gave charity, or he gives charity every week or every month. The charity has the power to dismiss the decree which was already decided. Tzedakah tatzil mimavet is already sentenced to death, and he gave tzedakah, not $2, something that hurt. He gave tzedakah, and the tzedakah postponed it or dismissed completely the death sentence. Now, death sentence you only get for intentional sin. There's no unintentional sin in the Torah that a person deserves a death sentence. No. Only for intentional sins. So if a person made an intentional sin and Hashem decided in Rosh Hashanah, this year and this day, this person is going goodbye from this world, but he gave tzedakah, the power of that tzedakah is to dismiss the punishment of an intentional sin, which is execution. But the sacrifice cannot cancel. You bring 5 million sacrifices, it cannot cancel the verdict that you have if you, chas v'shalom, you did it intentionally. You see the power of tzedakah, and people they think it's a joke. Tzedakah, not tzedakah, I gave too much, I'm giving what you want, you're doing anyone a favor, it's the best insurance policy. People pay fortune for insurance, malpractice insurance, house insurance, this insurance, so many insurance. And in the end, the real insurance, they neglect. Amazing. Now, someone who had a miracle, Hashem made a miracle for him. And you see, obviously it's a miracle. Right away, must take a big amount of money from his money and give it to charity. Why? You should say, maybe before the miracle, he needed to give tzedakah. Now, when finally the miracle happened, Baruch Hashem, I got saved without giving. Now I have to give? No, who is clever here? Why a person has to give right away? Because every miracle that is done for us, the prosecutor, the Satan, in a court of heaven, right away bring our case to the court to appeal. Right away. What right this person had to get saved in such a weird or strange way? Why did Hashem, you change the law of nature? Why did you make the policeman blind and he did not see him? Why did you make this guy here who came to burn him and the guy by the last minute you turn him to a different direction and he didn't see him? Why the gun didn't shoot? Why this didn't happen? What? Obviously Hashem made a miracle for you. So the Satan is very angry, because the Satan is very, very fair. Very fair. Why? Why is fair? He's an angel. Angels don't know how to lie, don't know how to cheat. They don't have evil inclination. He's a robot. A robot is programmed by the master of universe, which is the most righteous and justice authority. So the master of universe programmed the angels to do their job. And when he sees something is wrong, right away, he appeal it. So how do you block and seal his mouth? As soon as the miracle happened, right away, you put a big amount of money for charity, to a good cause, not to stupid causes. Why? As soon as the Satan come and say, what merit this person had to have this? Right away they say, why are you complaining? He paid his dues. Look, it's not an ungrateful person. He saw that we did something for him. Right away he pays for it. He doesn't want a gift for free. That's called לחתום פה שטן פי המקטרג עליו. כדי שינצל, also, he gets saved from עין הרע. Why? Many people see that a miracle happens to you, and the supervision of Hashem on you, how you get saved from certain situation, how you always get on a flight, how there's so many amazing things happening, how Hashem helps you in everything you do at work, this, that. Their eyes is on you all the time. Even if they love you, they don't mean bad for you, but the fact that they're mentioning it to their wives, to their friends, you saw what a miracle Hashem did to this person, you see how lucky he gets all the time, how does he make it all the time, how come I tried it 100 times, it never worked for me, this guy every time he does, it helps, what's going on here? Right away, the Satan is mekatreg. The prosecutor is opening his mouth against you. So what's their way to block it? Is to give tzedakah. The power of tzedakah is to block, to seal the mouth of the Satan, which constantly is trying to do his job and bring our problems in front of the court of heaven. Also, there's one more reason. 3 reasons I'm giving you. One is that the Satan doesn't ask in what merit you deserve it. Second is that the evil eye of the people won't hurt you next. From jealousy, or even not from jealousy. They mean well, but they open their mouth and it's already a case. And the third reason is that even if Hashem made a miracle for you, you obviously have to pay for the miracle. He takes away from your mitzvot. Why? If you went to a place you're not supposed to be there, and Hashem was forced because of that to save you. You went to Harlem at 2 o'clock at night with bags full of diamonds, with a beautiful tie and a $30,000 watch, and your gel in your hair, and you come out of your Mercedes and walk in 125th Street. And you made it through. You walked, and all the nice people over there looked at you, and somehow none of them came and say, how are you doing? If you want to buy some, maybe a necklace or something, and to see what you have, nothing happened. So you think, wow, Hashem is doing miracles for me. Yes, but He takes away from your mitzvot. It's not for free. Nothing is for free. It's all justice. Nothing is for free. So Hashem had to take away some of your merits and your rewards in order for you to get saved over here. You understand? So one way or the other, it's not good. So remember, whenever you see a miracle, every second in our life is a miracle. Don't get me wrong. How you define which miracle I'm referring to? Something unique, that it's out of the ordinary. Because every second is a miracle. You make it to the bus, it's a miracle. You came and the train just showed up, it's a miracle. You were supposed to, Chaz v'Shalom, get hurt, and Baruch Hashem, you left the place. Everything is a miracle. Something that you realize that everyone would agree, wow, that was really a miracle. Even doctors, atheists, anti-God, sometimes they say the word, it was a miracle. Right? Naturally, there was no chance. Sometimes they admit, yeah, that's a miracle, we can't explain. Really, according to law of nature, there was no chance. So that's another thing we learned tonight. One more thing. Nobody in the world, unfortunately, likes to be abused and to be ashamed and to be embarrassed, etc. People like easy life. Nobody wants someone to come spit in your face in public. Nobody wants someone in the middle of your lecture getting up in the audience and attacking you. Nobody wants somebody to write a bad article about him and 1 million people read it in the internet. We don't like it. We want everything to be smooth. But really the truth is, listen good, that when a person gets an embarrassment, someone embarrass him, and bizionot, cursed him, put him down, and he's silent about it, he had enough to answer. He had what to answer. He can prove it wasn't even him. Right after that, you should know that it's guarantee 1,000,000%, that because of that, Hashem will bring him to a much higher spiritual level in his future, thanks to that moment. And he will get a huge, huge favor from Hashem from being silent in this moment. And it will come from the holiness, from the source of holiness. The Gemara in Sanhedrin say, page 7, החרפה והבושת, it's a replacement for 100 tragedies. The embarrassment in public and the shame that a person gets in public, it's a replacement for 100 tragedies that he deserves to get. Heart attack, cancer, bankruptcy, being a handicap, losing a child, who knows what. 100 tragedies are replaced in 5 minutes of embarrassment, 2 minutes of embarrassment. And the more people saw it, the better it is. Rashi writes a lot about that. Over there, Sanhedrin, page 7. You know, the Gemara say that they wanted to renew the month. They wanted to do Kiddush HaChodesh. So the rabbis called 7 rabbis to come. They need 7 rabbis in a court, and 8 showed up. 8. One of them was Shmuel HaKatan. His name was Little Shmuel, you know. So the rabbi said, I see 8. One of you came with no permission. He wasn't invited. So please step down. So Shmuel stepped down. So everyone said to him, well, why you came if you're not invited? So he said, you know, I wanted to learn. I just wanted to learn how you're doing it. But he was the biggest chacham there. He was humbled. He was invited, but he didn't want to embarrass the one who wasn't invited, so he pretended he came without permission. So he told him, you deserve more than anyone that the month will be renewed by you. Then the Gemara say, right next to it another story, Rabbi was teaching a shiur, teaching Gemara in his yeshiva, and somebody ate garlic there. Somebody ate garlic. And if you remember, I said it in my previous lecture, it's a sin from the Torah to eat raw garlic. Sin from the Torah if you go to the public. If you go to sleep, no problem. You can eat as much as you want. You smell yourself. But if you go now to the office, or your taxi driver, or your officer, or your teller in a bank, or you go to yeshiva to learn with someone, and you eat things that smells and horrible, and the breath goes to the face of a person, you're violating the rule of ve'afta lireacha kamocha and few other rules. Few other rules. You tell this person, come eat pork, I'll give you $5,000 cash. He's going to say, what? You're offering me to sell Hashem for $5,000? Shame on you. Eating garlic is the same thing. Or eating anything else that smells, it's very bad. Why? What's going to be your answer? It's good for the health. Yeah? Watch your health not on my expense, on your expense. Why everyone has to come and suffer? Metzayer tabriot. You know how careful a person has to be? And what's the proof that I'm right? This Gemara. They come to learn Torah. Rabbi is the one who wrote the Mishnah. Would Rabbi ever imagine to embarrass a Jew in front of everyone in yeshiva? So he said, the one who ate garlic, please get out of the class. One person got up. Who was that? Remember? Rabbi Chia, yeah. Rabbi Chia got up, and everyone got up. They left. So the next morning, the son of Rabbi saw Rabbi Chia on the street. He said, shame on you. Because of you, my father's shiur in yeshiva got canceled. So he said to him, God forbid, I wasn't the one who ate garlic. So Why you got up? I didn't want the one who really ate garlic to be embarrassed. Well, what we learn from Rabbi, it's not an ordinary person on the streets. The holiest person in the land. The Gemara says he deserved to be Mashiach. No one in the world deserved more than him in his generation. No one in the world. He was a perfect human being. He lived full life, 120 years. Was a billionaire. Was the biggest Chacham. Was the biggest Baal Chesed. He wrote the Mishnah, and he's a reincarnation of Yaakov Avinu, Jacob, from the Torah. Could be a better person in history. And he got to a person that ate garlic and said, get out of my class. The Gemara brings it in a nice way. You, out. Eat garlic in your bedroom, not here. Are you convinced now, or you need more proofs? I have a list. That's not the topic. A person has to take showers. A person cannot be greasy. A person cannot go with stains on his clothes. A person represents the Torah. You come in front of him, you see with your yarmulke and your beard, and you smell like a dead rat. What do you think he's going to say? He goes to his Italian friends, said, these Jews are stink. Forget it. Why? What's the proof? Every person that I spoke in the past, they all complain why the Indian taxi drivers are smelling the way they smell. They do not know that it's a part of their religion. Their brilliant religion say to them that they're only allowed to take a shower one day a year in some special lake in India. But the rest of the year, the body is holy. You cannot take showers. So you go into his cab, you deserve to get $5 million reward. Why? He doesn't take showers. What do you expect? Do we want us to look like that? That's the question. We have to think. Plus, there's other problems. Here comes now the next thing. The problem is that many marriages broke because of this. Do you know that? Do you know how many times a man or a woman came to complain to me about the other one, that they're not aesthetic, that they're not taking showers, they're not brushing their teeth, they're not taking care of their gums, they're not taking care of the skin, or if it's a woman, she's not removing the hair. He's embarrassed to tell her. And then the marriage is broken, and they don't understand why. Because they're embarrassed to communicate. You understand what's happening? And one thing leads to another. It starts with the little things, and then it destroys the marriage, because a part of marriage is intimacy. There's no intimacy, there's no marriage. You're not a Chazon Ish, forget about it. Chazon Ish technically could live without a wife. He just took a wife because the Torah say. It was up to him to learn Torah all his life. There are people like this. Well, we're not in this level. The person needs a wife needs a husband. Even a wife needs a husband. That she doesn't have an obligation to have children in the Torah. Still, the Gemara in Kiddushin say that a woman is dying to get married more than a man. And sometimes women willing to make a huge compromise as long as they won't stay single. And the pressure on the women is much bigger to get married because they have a limited amount of time. They get to a certain age, after that they can't conceive anymore. So they're under pressure. Why a man, he can be 50, he can still have children. A woman reaches a certain age, now the more years are gone without having children, her system wasn't active, the chance to get pregnant is lower and lower over the years. Of course, Hashem wants, you can be 60 and still become pregnant, we know that. But we're talking statistically. Every year there's a little bit less chance. And if it's a woman that before she became religious, she had an abortion, then her chances to become pregnant is another 50% less. Because there's always complications and problems, unfortunately. Every sin has a price to pay. Nothing is getting away without. And if she did conceive, she has to pay in a different place. But this is what's happening here today. So a person has to be very careful. Now, what's a good way to get rid of depression and sadness, which is the biggest epidemic of today's generation? Almost every person, somebody sent me a link to a list of very, very lucky kids. This guy, his father owned $3 billion things. This one, 100 hotels. This one is an Arab sheikh. They drive cars, millions of dollars. They have all these things. So there was about 5 or 6 people, and they all had very sad face. So one person wrote over there, but why they're all very depressed? The richest kids in the world. They're born into billions. They all have very sad face. You look at them, if you know how to read faces, they all look very depressed. Why? Money excites you a little bit. Once you get used to it, you're not feeling lucky like the rest of the people think. You get used to it. I once asked, what's better, to be a miserable rich or miserable poor? Right? So people think miserable rich is better. At least I don't have to struggle with the mortgage and the bills. And the answer is absolutely not. Better to be miserable poor. Why? A miserable poor, he think my misery come because I'm poor. Once I get rid of the poverty, I'll be able to be happy finally. So they have hope. They live with hope for the future. Someone who's already a millionaire and is depressed has no more hope. What am I living for? Nothing will make me happy. Married, children, millions of dollars, fame, glory, Hollywood actor, commit suicide. Rock and roll star, commit suicide. Every one of them is in deep drugs. Anti-depression medicine. You know, you find one Hollywood person that his blood is clean from chemicals? Can you find one? I'll be very surprised. They're all under cocaine, heroin, LSD, this, that. They can make it one day without it. Why? They are the biggest miserable people. Biggest. Yeah. So, what's an advice to get rid of the sadness? The best advice, of course, is to be very, very connected to Torah. If you're deep in the Torah all your life, there's no room for sadness and depression. But since we are not like this, everyone with his business, this guy fix car, this guy drive a car, this one is in a bank, everyone with his dreams. So how a person will get rid of his sadness? Listen good. First, eating dates. Dates. It's helping to make a person happier. Better than Prozac. Natural and cheaper, I guess. You can buy it for $4.99 a pound, Israeli dates, and you can also make bracha, al ha'etz v'al pri ha'etz, mitzvah from the Torah. What can be better than that? Then to make sure your stomach is always clean. Not to hold the waste in the stomach. Make sure as soon as you feel a little bit, right away, to clean the stomach. Then black raisins. Every food that the color of it is red, helping to revive the spirit of a person, to make him happier. Pomegranate, beads, etc. We learn it, there's a hint in Tehillim, Nun Bet, Tehillim, Psalms 52. It says, Bevo doeg ha'edomi. Doeg means concern. Deaga, concern, worry. Edomi, he was from Edom, the nation of Edom. Like Esav was Edom, there's other Edomim. But what's the secret here? You know, every verse in the Torah has also sod. Sod is that red. Edomi also means Adom. Adom means red. You want to get rid of Doeg? The answer for that is Edomi, something red. That's the secret here. Then, that's why in tradition, the people who mourn for the death, they always give them red lentils. That's what Jacob got the Bechorah from Esav by making him a lentil soup. Why? There was a mourning. That was the time of the mourning. So he gave him, for that he bought the Bechorah from Esav. It was red lentil. Achile nima, alite nima me'adom ha'adom hazeh, the Torah say, pour it into my jaws, into my mouth from this red soup. There was red lentil. So, this is what, obviously there's other ways to do it, but I gave an easy way. Eat a little bit red lentil, beads, pomegranate, and some other dates, and it's already going to help to revive the spirit and help Be'ezrat Hashem a person to feel happier. Then there's one more thing. Now we're going into the last part of the lecture. Used to be a clock here, no? It's over there? Okay, good. Okay, still have time, Baruch Hashem. So, now, we're going into the third part of the lecture, which I said in the beginning that I will talk about, is behaving of a woman. A woman, how she has to behave. Now, Baruch Hashem, there's more men than women here. So you're wondering, okay, maybe I can get up and leave now. The answer is no. You have wives, you're going to have daughters, you have sisters, you have to learn. Lecture is not only to hear for yourself, it's to share with others, or to direct them to where they can hear it. So many people think that a woman, if she dress modestly, that's it. She dress, white dress, jackets, everything, cover, no problem, nothing is attached, nothing is clear, nothing is, forbidden material. So it's all fine. She cover her hair, even, no wig, whatever. She's extremely modest. Very good. Rebbitzin. Couldn't be better. That's true. As far as the clothing is very important. But there are more things into modesty. The behaving, 50% is the clothing, and 50% is the everyday behaving. If you just dress modestly and you behave like a secular girl, you're not passing the law of modesty. Yes, you dress modest and you sweat a lot in the summer and you think I'm the most righteous woman in the world, but in reality, you're making a lot of problems for yourself. For instance, there's a list of things. First, let's start with makeup. Tons of makeup, these artificial eyelashes, these colors, it looks sometimes like a clown more than a person. All these colors that attract so much attention. Tons of perfume. There's not a chance that a man that walking by will not pay attention to her. If she goes on a date with someone who maybe will be her future life and she doesn't have confidence enough and she put lots of makeup, no, I understand where it comes from. It's also not recommended because classy man doesn't like too much makeup. He likes as less as possible, you should know that. Only tacky, empty people love a lot of colors and outside. People who are more higher in a level, they actually look for the inside and they look for other things more than all this artificial assistance. So that's one thing just besides the point. But when she goes to the supermarket, she goes to college, she goes to work, why do you need all this? What do you need? What's the point of putting perfume? That Vinny, the boss, will smell you every time he passes and dream about you? What's the point of that? What is it? I'm asking myself, what reason Jewish girls have when they go to their office or to their school to put perfume? What for? To make the Yetzer Hara work for the men? Now, you know that the perfume, it's not about smell. In case you didn't know, they put inside chemicals that make the brain of a man think sexually. That's the secret of these perfumes. They invest billions of dollars in research until today, how to create the perfume in a way that it attracts the male around the female to think into the scene, the direction of the scene. That's what it's all about, this perfume. You should know that. So right away, that's a problem. Second, how loud the woman is. Whether she has to talk, a kosher woman will do everything she can not to talk in front of men. Not to give lectures in front of men, not to speak in her living room in front of all the guys. Even her son is a bar mitzvah, she will never get up in a microphone and make 300 men look at her standing on the stage. Of course, she will never put her pictures on Facebook, which is a horrible scene that millions of other people looking at her, even if she dressed modestly. Still, what is, you put a poster of yourself? Facebook is a poster on the street. It's a poster on Fifth Avenue. 5 million people a day can look at you. Every person even accidentally saw you right away. This, that, sharing, who knows how many people can go. And there's a lot of crazy people out there and a lot of sick people out there. And they may think about you and who knows what. Not to talk about these girls who put naked pictures of themselves that they forget to get dressed. These girls are lost already. I'm talking totally dressed. Picture of a wedding. Why Vinny and Tony and Ahmed and Muhammad have to see your wedding? Why? Why? A kosher wedding, you don't make a mixed video of men and women dancing. You make a separate video for women, separate video for men. And I always say to women who ask me, a smart woman never agree to be filmed or taking pictures of her anywhere. You don't want to be a part of an album of every person in the world, even if it's your brother or sister. Even if it's a video for ladies. How do you know the woman who owned the video, it was her son's wedding or whatever, who she's going to show it to? Maybe tomorrow she see it and there are painters amigos walking in the house and they see you dancing in front of all these amigos and they're all standing and looking at you, and you come in front of Hashem and Hashem says, shame on you, look what's happening. It's not modest. What's the point? Why to do things that then later on you have no control of, cannot get it back? Even one day you make tshuva, you become very religious, where are you going to find all these pictures? Right? Also, friends sending pictures to each other. One day she wants to become religious. Go and find where are your pictures with bathing suit all over the world. It's very difficult to make tshuva this way. One more thing, communication. She said, this is my friend from school, a guy. She's single, she has a guy. They do homework together. No, is that kosher? Oh, we went to the pizza shop, we do homework together. One thing leads to another. It's working, what do you think? Today it's homework, tomorrow, Hashem Yirachem, it's an abortion. That's what's happening. You debate what I say, you think I'm extreme, you think I'm exaggerating, so you're blind, you're not aware of what's happening out there. Even giving rides, even getting into someone's car, even choosing who's going to be the babysitter. There's so many things to think about today. Where your kids are going to, where they're going to stay in Shabbat, who is the man in that house, who is the teenagers over there, which guys come to your house if you have girls in the house that are older than bat mitzvah already. So many things to think about. There's so many tragedies happening out there. Just today, in the middle of class in Israel, the Israeli police broke into a secular school, public school, and put handcuffs on the hand of a teacher who was having relation with 15-year-old girl in his class. You send your kids to public school, and the next thing, a 40 or 50-year-old teacher is doing what he does and ruin the life of your kid. You understand what's happening here? You can't even send your kids to public school today. It's like a death sentence, what's happening. So, that's very important. A person has to know. Now, one more thing now. It's also very common that girls, they need a psychologist. They have a lot of things in their heart. The husband is not behaving good. She's under labor, under giving birth. Women are more sensitive than men, so they need someone to share their problems with. She's embarrassed to talk to friends or people that she knows. So she has her personal rabbi. Now she's going to start to share all her secrets with some person that she met in a lecture or who knows where, or she watched his lecture here and there. Who say it's allowed? Who say it's allowed? Who say? You have intimate things, speak to a rebbitzin, to a woman. You know, Rav Chaim Kanievsky, if women come to ask him intimate questions, he doesn't let them talk to him. Talk to the wife, and she passed the question. I used to know someone who used to give lectures, and right after the lecture, he locked himself in a room with all the ladies from that night's lecture until the morning. Make himself a room all night, sitting inside, and who knows what he was doing there, Hashem Yirachem. Why? It starts in the beginning in a kosher way, and then it becomes like a sickness. Because the Gemara says, En apotropus la'arayot. That's why every person who speaks to a woman after a lecture, before the lecture, has to be in a public place when people walk by. Not, let's go into this room and close the door. Or the worst, that person I spoke about was putting a guard by the door that nobody would interfere. Baruch Hashem, Hashem wiped him out. Baruch Hashem. It's not anymore a threat. But in those days, he used to have power and take advantage on people. So you have to be very careful. You have to be careful who you're sharing your secrets with. Just because a person has a nice beard and a beautiful sombrero that he bought in Borough Park doesn't mean he's a decent person. You understand? And not to talk about all these things that they take advantage on women now that they know their secrets, and they force them to do certain things. They begin to ask them about how much their husband is making, and this, and the next thing they come to the husband, why you don't give donation, how does he know? How does he know that I make these deals? He pretends he's a holy man, he has a prophecy. That's what that person used to do. And eventually, Baruch Hashem, Hashem got sick and tired of him and got rid of him. But The point is that you got to be very careful. I say always, the Gemara already say 2,000 years ago, every person has to be in your eyes 50-50. 50% Rabban Gamliel. 50% Esav HaRasha, a murderer. Look at him. Shalom, who are you? Rabbi such and such. I'm Rosh Yeshivat such and such in Yerushalayim. Psh. Right away. 50%, I just saw Rav Chaim Kanievsky in front of me. 50%, I just saw Yasser Arafat in front of me. That's the right way. 50% Rav Chaim Kanievsky, 50% Rav Yasser Arafat. You got it? Why? If you know there's a 50% chance that Yasser Arafat is standing here, you won't do certain things, and later you get the knife in your back. You got to be very careful. Also, it's better, if you have questions, better instead of asking face-to-face, especially intimate questions and things that connects to halacha, better to send it with email that the person doesn't know how you look. It doesn't know who you are. You have questions, you email. You can even change your name, it's no problem. Your name is Rachel, so you write, my name is X. My name is something. Make up a name. I have this question. It happens to me this and this and that. What do I have to do? Finished. You understand? Why? The more modest you can be, the better it is. The better it is. Why? It's very difficult. What's happening out there today, it's very, very difficult. And every week you find out another person and another one and another one. Just somebody went to jail 2 or 3 weeks ago. Very famous figure in Brooklyn. Was all over the news. And then if you see that it happens to people who are considered big in our society, that means it can happen to everyone. It can even happen to righteous people. Some of these people who get caught, they do a lot of mitzvot. They learn Torah, they give tzedakah, they help millions of people. And then they fall in a trap. And the next thing, a tragedy happens. This is what life is all about. So there's really no guarantee. You got to be very careful. Also remember, people come to your house, don't run in front of everyone serving and yelling, and in a conversation you always have to scream and yell. We know you're smart. Don't attract too much attention. And of course, how loud you are also. You go with your husband, the kids, in a restaurant, everyone has to hear you, everyone has to look at you. That's not a modest way. A modest girl, you see the real religious girls, when you talk to them, you don't hear what they say. You have to repeat the question 3-4 times because they hardly talk. You see how they want this situation to be over already. That's a kosher girl. Not right away. Yeah, how are you? What is this? A religious girl. Then you wonder why almost everyone get divorced now. Not only get divorced after a few years, right away. Getting married, a week later, divorce. A week later, they leave the house. Sometimes they make it a year. One of the main reasons why it's like this, because most of the people today in this time that get married, their parents did not prepare them for marriage. By the secular people, forget about it. They have no idea what they live for. So it's needless to say, they don't know why they're getting married for. But by the Orthodox people that they know what we live for, their parents did not prepare them. They didn't prepare the girl for marriage. They didn't prepare the guy for marriage. What do you think? Marriage is after the wedding, they'll be together for a week and then life is over? They have to prepare them. There's bills, there's house, there's cooking, there's children later. They have to prepare them for this. Just because they fell in love with each other, going on a date a few times, and they're very excited, they're finally going to have the dream of our life coming through, what's going to be a week after the wedding, when they go into reality? What's going to be? You have to prepare these children. They're not prepared. Plus, I give you an example. I was in Shabbaton this Shabbat. There's one girl over there, very big tzadikah. Be'emet, I'm holding from her a tzadikah. How she pray. She live in a very rich environment, but she's mamash the way it should be. Modest, nice, polite, listening to a lot of lecture, praying very early in the morning. And she wants someone with a ben Torah. So she was telling my wife that she went out with a date on a guy from yeshiva in Lakewood, yeshiva. It's like saying Yale or Columbia or Harvard of the yeshivot in America. And the guy dropped the shidduch. Guess why? Guess why he didn't take this girl? Because she refused to go with high heels. Yes, that's why he dumped the shidduch after everything was perfect. And she comes from a good house. She comes from a wealthy family, nice people, good midot, religious, generous, modest, whatever you want. Baalei chesed, באמת, good family. You know, and she's very nice and also nice looking and everything. And what happened? The guy doesn't want such a bargain. He found a billion-carat diamond on the street. Why he doesn't want to pick up the diamond? Because he has a drop of mud. You fool, take a napkin, clean the mud. She doesn't want to go with high heels. You think that it's a joke? I'm telling you, there's thousands of guys like this, criminals, sitting in yeshivot all day with Gemara like this. They're worse than every Muhammad on the street. Worse. And when they come in front of Hashem, I'm telling you, first row in hell they're going to have. With all the Torah they learned. Why? If a girl comes and says she doesn't want to wear a wig, he dropped the shidduch. Instead of saying, finally I found a kosher girl that doesn't want to go with a 5,000 wig that every Vini on the street would look at her. Finally we found a kosher girl. What does he say? No. I'm repeating the words of Rav Ovadia Yosef a year ago. He said like this is Reshaim. This is wicked people. It's not Talmidei Yeshiva. This is wicked people that they force their future wives to dress not modest. Why you dress like this? Wear this, wear this. He wants to make her a prostitute before he even became her husband.
That's the heels?
Heels, high heels. You know how the girls walk with the Empire State Building heels like this? All day they suffer like this. Why do you think the heels? Who made the heels? It will make the woman walk in a way that people would look at her. What do you think is behind it? No one, it's not comfortable. Even women who are 7 feet tall, they put heels like the Empire State Building. Nothing to do with height. If you tell me very short girls, they put high heels because, they want to be a little higher. No, fine, I understand. But, I don't understand how they suffer like this all day. And then, after a few years that they go like this, if one day they want to make tshuva, they can't. Because it ruins the legs.
Yeah, the Achilles heel.
It ruins the legs, the Achilles. Yes, they cannot walk straight anymore. They have to go like this, on their toes. This is where we live in. That's where we live in. And this guy is thinking, this guy, Baal Tshuva. No. You're insulting us. You're offering us Baal Tshuva. This Baal Tshuva is 1 billion times better than you in Shamayim. Who do you think you are? My grandfather was a big Rebbe in Hungary. That doesn't help you in Shamayim. Esav, his father was Yitzchak. Did it help him? It was a Rasha. The Torah says Rasha. His father was Yitzchak Avinu, speaks with Hashem. His son is an animal. Hunter, murderer, idols worshipper, funder of Nazis. That's who Esav was. Who was his father? The chief rabbi of the world. Even today, you have big rabbis. Not every one of them was lucky to have good kids. The ego, the pride is really a cancer. One guy in one of these high society yeshivot, every shidduch they offer him, he turns down. So his rabbi decided, that was in Israel, he called him up. He said to him, I have a great shidduch for you. This time you have to agree. So he said, what? He said, this girl, not this, that, beautiful, that, educated, family. Okay, no, Rabbi, there's only one problem. What? She's divorced. You should see the face of the guy. He almost got a heart attack. Rabbi, am I defected or something? I've never been married. Why are you offering me a divorced girl? Never got married once in my life. I'm learning, I know so much Torah. I'm handsome, I'm rich, I'm this. That's what he thinks. You offering me a girl that was married and divorced already? Offer divorce to divorce. That's the way the guy think. A few days later, the rabbi calls him up. He said, I have this girl, he gives a whole hallel on her. Then he said to her, what's no? So he said, what's the problem? He said that, she has this birth defect. Something, maybe she's crippled a little bit or whatever. So the guy almost cried. He got very angry at Rosh Yeshiva. He doesn't want to talk to him anymore. So after a week, the guy got engaged with the girl that he dropped before the rabbi called him. The rabbi called him twice. A week before the rabbi called him, he went on a date. And after the rabbi offered him those two offers, right away he ran to that girl and got married. So the rabbi told him, Mazal Tov, I got what I wanted. So I told him, what do you mean? He said, I realize your nose is all the way up in heaven. How would I lower your self-esteem and your ego and pride? I offered you a divorced girl, a girl that crippled. Right away you saw that you're not somebody that you thought. Right away you ran to the girl and took her. What happened? The girl was great, the one. But he didn't want her because he thinks he's God. Sometimes in order to wake up a person and bring him down to reality, this is what you have to do to him. You don't choose him, you don't invite him, you do something to shake him up. Oh, why you didn't call me? There are better people here. Oh, you understand? That's what's happening today. You should know ego is a killer. Ego kills people. It can be a big Talmid Chacham, big rabbi, the ego kills him. If you know a little bit Israeli politics now, there's some rabbis who did a lot, and the ego killed them, mamash destroyed them. One after the other, they collapse. And that's why I always say, it's very dangerous once you're starting to learn Torah, and then you'll become that you know Torah, and then you'll become a speaker, and then you become a famous speaker, and then you sell a lot of tapes, and you're all over, and interview, and television, and you're the guest of honor. Every level that you go up, your ego is going higher and higher if you're not down to earth and you don't remember where you came from. Next thing, you wear long coats, special hats, this. Next thing, someone is holding your hand. The next thing is a driver. And then you don't want to fly economy anymore, only first class. And then you have 6 people who walk with you. Next thing, you have a helicopter. You land in the middle of the stadium. And the next thing, Hashem is drowning you in hell for the rest of your history. With all your ego. Why? One rule that people forget. Hashem cannot stand proud people, no matter how brilliant they are, no matter how many mitzvot they did. Kva levav oto lo uchal. Hashem did not say an exception to the rule. He didn't say, if you're proud, but you like David HaMelech, okay, I can stand you. You're David HaMelech. No. Proud means even if you were in the level of Moshe Rabbeinu, you have no share to the world to come. What's the proof? Korach. Korach was in the level of Moshe Rabbeinu and a lot wealthier. Ashir ka Korach in Hebrew until today. When someone is very, very rich, they say in Israel, Ashir ka Korach. The secular people, they say Ashir ka Korach, but they don't know who Korach was. But they know when someone is rich, you say Ashir ka Korach. You understand? But they don't know who Korach was. But he had everything. He knew Torah. He heard the voice of Hashem in Mount Sinai. He was coming from a family of Levi. He's very wealthy. He's very important. A relative of Moshe Rabbeinu. He's in the top of the pyramid. He has no share to the world to come. Hell swallowed him with all the 250 rabbis who joined him against Moshe. And the Gemara says until today they stand in hell and scream, Moshe emet v'torato emet. There's an argument if in the end they'll come out of hell. Why? Because so many people learn not to be proud and arrogant from their story that maybe eventually it will help them that their verdict will be dismissed. Maybe. It's an argument between the Chachamim if Korach will ever come out of there or not. One thing we know, the person was almost like Moshe Rabbeinu and he had ego, and the ego destroyed him. And that's what the Gemara says, התאווה והקנאה והכבוד מוציאים את האדם מן העולם. The jealousy, the desire, and the honor is destroying a person and taking him away from the world, from the life of eternity. Those 3 things, honor, desire, and ego, is all pride. Pride. It's all about pride. All these desires, this, fancy, schmancy, I'm not wearing this, that's not my style, that's not good enough for me, this hotel, how come we came, how come it's not this hotel, well, there's this nonsense. You have a piece of mattress, thank you Hashem. You have something to drink, thank you Hashem. Water from the faucet, thank you Hashem. Thank you for what I have. I have a nice house, thank you. A little tiny apartment, thank you. A suit of $1,000, thank you. A suit of $50, also thank you. I live for this. For that I came to the world, for this nonsense. What kind of car? Leather seat, sunroof? No, he's crying. His father bought him for his 17, sweet 16. He got a new car, but he didn't have leather seat. Or he didn't have sunroof. Wow, he's so upset. My friend has sunroof and I don't have. You understand? Religious kids. What kind of tie? No, we don't know this brand. They don't want to wear the shoes. Why? It's $20 shoes from Walmart. They scream on the floor. What happened? Why you buy me these shoes, these sneakers? Doesn't have Adidas, Puma, whatever. He's screaming. You should see what's happening. You have to beg him 2 days to wear the shoes. You understand what's happening here? To be religious means, first of all, to be humble, down to earth, simple, equal to every person. You understand? Don't walk with bodyguards. Don't put people in the door that they come to ask you a question in Torah. They have to go through 5, 6 different obstacles and 16 jars of cash until they finally come to ask a question. Everyone can reach you on a cell phone. Everyone can reach you on an email. People can see you buying in a supermarket. Why? Who are you? Huh? You're making vegetable shopping in a supermarket? Well, who's supposed to do? Supposed to have a servant. You're a famous guy. Baloney. A person has to always remember, I'm the simple guy from the neighborhood. That's what will make you in the end more successful than all these fake big shots. Remember this. If you're going to be somebody that you think you are, in the end nothing will be remembered from you. If you're going to be a simple person, the greatest people in history, they were very simple, down to earth. Look at the Ramchal. He's cutting diamonds. The Ramchal. Age 14, he already knew all the Kitvei Ari by heart. Age 18, angel was speaking to him. Age 38, he passed away. In 20 years since he became bar mitzvah until he passed away, he wrote more than 100 books. We only have few of them. All of them are gone in a box. You know, there are investigators who are searching for 200 years for this box, full of spiritual treasure of the Ramchal. Down to earth. The rabbis told him, you're not allowed to teach Kabbalah. Who do you think you are? All the biggest rabbis in the world of 250 years ago, in their 70s. Each one of them was like 5,000 rabbis of today in their level. They went crazy. When a kid, 18 years old, from Italia, from Padova, from Italy, with no beard, very skinny like this, come and say that an angel telling him secrets of Torah. They couldn't believe it. They went crazy. They made him sign agreements that he won't teach, this, that. In the end, where are these rabbis today? Nobody knows where they are. They were big giants. Don't get me wrong. I'm telling you, big holy giants. And they even have a point. How many times in history it happened that a kid became like Moshe Rabbeinu of the generation? How many? That he knew all the secrets of the Torah? And what happened in the end? He is the most legendary Kabbalist, him and the Ari. There's few. The Gaon Mivilna, the Rashash of the last 1,000 years. And those great rabbis, perhaps nobody would ever know who they were. That they made him sign all kinds of restrictions. That he won't teach Kabbalah because they're afraid. Why? You have to understand it was after the time of Shabtai Tzvi. There was Shabtai Tzvi who started in Kabbalah and things like this, and in the end became a goy, became a kofir. So everyone was very nervous and everyone was very careful that it's another Shabtai Tzvi came to the world. Until today in Turkey you have a movement, the Shabtaim. They're still alive and kicking. 200 years after they saw he became, when he became Muslim? He became a Muslim. Muslim he became. After they kicked him out of Judaism, he found himself a place. But the world was nervous. So they had a point. Everything was right. In the end, he was the legend. Same thing, the Ari also died age 38. Rabbi Nachman in Breslev also, the Orach Chaim also 40-something. Big rabbis, they pass very young. They came in a very short period of time. They get more than 100 times. If they live 100 times more, in our days, they wouldn't be able to write. In a period of 20, 25 years, they taught so much secrets from Hashem to the world that nobody knew before. Opened the channels of Kabbalah, of spirituality, all the upper worlds, all the tikkunim. If you see the things on the Zohar that the Ramchal wrote or the Ari wrote, no one would know that. No, they was sent from Shamayim to tell the world things that nobody for almost 2,000 years was able to understand. It's like opening channels that was black for the world. And they were down to earth. The Ramchal, you know why they got angry at him? They said to him, you're not even holy. We don't see you going to the mikveh every morning. We don't see you in a lake breaking the ice like us. We are in our 70s, 5 in the morning. We're in a lake in Italy breaking ice and going to the mikveh every morning. We do sigufim. We fast almost every day. We do this, we do that. What are you? You eating, you're learning, fine. Thousands of people learn all day. But he was doing everything, he was hiding. They ran after him. He didn't tell them that he's going to the mikveh every morning until they caught him. For years. He was doing the same. They spitting at him. They took the bathroom. There was no bathroom like today. So everything was in the jars, you know. They took and spilled it on his head. People were beating him up. He had to move from one place to another. Plus, he was working as a diamond cutter and supporting his parents on top of all the problems that he had. And what happened? He was hiding his righteousness. Not like today, a person did one act in his life, 30 years he celebrates. Newspaper, photographers, this, he writes, Arav Gaon, all over. He pays people. You know, there are rabbis that pay people in the media in Israel to put their name on the media every day. They pay money to reporters, I'm telling you. They pay that they put them not in advertisement section, they put them in the daily news as they do something big, but they pay them under the ground. That's what's happening, ego. Ego, you can be, I'm telling you, you can be like Moshe Rabbeinu and full of pride. If you don't work on it every second of your life to put yourself down to earth, you will not get there. The nature of a person is to rise. And the more he rises, the more hungry he becomes. The main thing in life is to put yourself down to earth. Who am I? Nothing, simple. Why not to sit here? Why not to, what's the problem? Why to be a big shot? Why? Who needs all this? You understand? And that's Be'ezrat Hashem, if we'll be like this. And of course there's challenges and we fail a lot. But this is the goal. Hashem would love you. Hashem loved Moshe, not because he was the smartest person. There were many smart people in his time. Many. Hashem wrote in the Torah. What do you think he wrote in the Torah? Torah, it's not New York Times. The Torah teach message for eternity. Hashem wrote in the Torah, I love Moshe, my servant, because he's the most humble person. Not because he's the smartest. He was stuttering. He wasn't so great, technically, if you look at him. Charismatic. None of these things. Why? He's down to earth, humble. Humble, down to earth, has no ego whatsoever. He is going to be the most legendary leader in history. Halakha, we have an argument in the Talmud. Bet Shammai, Bet Hillel, two biggest yeshivot of that days. That all the halakha came from them. Halakha always like Bet Hillel. Why? Bet Shammai was not smart enough? Was very smart, just as much. Not less, for sure. Why always halakha like Bet Hillel? Because they are more humbled, down to earth. Since where we care who's humbled when it comes to the truth of God? The truth of God, an arrogant, proud person and an humble person arguing. The humble person will always be right? Maybe the arrogant knows more in this specific question. Of course he knows more sometimes. So why always the humbled one is always, the law is like him, always, when there's an argument. Halakha always like Bet Hillel, end of story. Why? No, why? Doesn't make any sense. You want to say Bet Hillel humble, give them a prize. Praise them in a Talmud. Make sure everyone would know they're more humble. But every halacha, check who is right. Sometimes Bet Hillel, sometimes Bet Shammai. The answer is, it's worth it for Hashem that even people will do not like He wanted, but everyone would know that to be humble is the most important thing in life. And not only that, when you're humbled, Hashem will always help you to aim to the truth. No obstacle between you and the truth. You have extra help from Hashem. You can be sharp in your brain and He can be sharp, but you're humble down to earth. It's a very hard philosophical argument. Hashem will take the humble person and give him the answer in his brain. Why? A gift. Why he got a gift and he didn't get? Because he is someone that Hashem loves, and this is a person that Hashem cannot stand. And that's what we call Siyata Dishmaya, assistant from heaven. And you only get it if Hashem like you. And if He cannot stand you because you're proud and arrogant, you have a big problem. You learn all your life, and in the end, like Yerovam ben Navat, has no share to the world to come. No rabbi in a history can give lectures like Yerovam ben Navat. 127 lectures on each topic in the Torah. Hashem spoke to him. He didn't speak to me yet, or to anybody I know. He spoke to him. And what did He say to him? Make tshuva, and King David and you and I will be together in heaven. And he asked, who is going to be higher, him or me? Hashem say him. He said, I'm not interested. The Gemara brings him in Sanhedrin, has no share to the world to come. He knew all the Torah by heart. We'll never know the Torah in a million years like he knew. In a million years. And Hashem say, arrogant, proud, X for eternity, get lost. Now you decide. You want to be a big shot over here for 20 years and then die have nothing? Or you want to be down to earth and nobody cares about you? They put you to sit in a corner and nobody gives you the respect you deserve? And in the end, like the Chilonim in Israel say, tzorchek mi shetzorchek acharon. Doesn't matter who laugh in the middle of the argument. Only who would laugh in the end. That's a very clever secular sentence that the Israelis use. Tzorchek mi shetzorchek acharon. You laugh, I laugh. It's like in a boxing match. He gave a punch, he gave a punch. Every second looks like this guy's dead. In the end, somebody remember who got punches? Only people remember who collapsed on the floor. That's it. Who was standing in the end of the fight? He got, doesn't matter. In the end, who is going to be laughing in the end? Which means who is going to pass all the challenges and the test and will continue to stay down to earth and righteous and humble. We'll see you next Monday. Baruch Adonai L'olam. Amen ve'amen.